All right, my friends, I just finished eating a massive plate of pierogi. I'm ready to go. And today, guys, we're back with a community showdown featuring Norsca, who shall be led by Aerocrastic, and the Vampire Coast, who's going to be helmed by 524263563565. That was pretty close, right? I think I got it for the most part. May have mixed up a number here and there, but it doesn't really matter. So for the forces of Norsca, it's going to be a Troll Pound Town build. Now that is a bold strategy, Cotton. I mean, they certainly could pay off in numbers like this with a very wide army. They can blitz through. They have good mass. They can really do a number against Depth Guard. They do well against crabs. The only issue with them, of course, is their leadership. So they have low leadership. All of the Vampire Coast units cause fear. There's quite a bit of terror, and trolls are immune to fear, actually. So that's actually, yeah, units that cause fear. So this is actually a good time to talk about that. So anytime you see a unit that does cause fear or terror, it's also immune to those respective conditions. So fear isn't really going to matter from the zombies and things like that. They look at the zombies, they're like, yeah, this isn't so bad. But then they look up at the giant crab. They're like, you know what? That thing's bigger than us. We should probably run back to our troll caves. But anyways, good against Depth Guard, good against crabs, weak against sustained gunfire. But, with a wide army like this, I think there's certainly an opportunity to make these guys work. And we'll have to see if the Vampire Coast does have any terror-causing units. Front line's going to be Marauders, pretty much standard. You don't need anything better than that against Vampire Coast. Marauders are going to be able to do a number on zombies, and they can just trade with the halberds or the regular deckhand mobs, and it's not going to be a problem. So the front line certainly has the front line engagement covered. It's going to be able to deal with zombies plus Depth Guard. And in the back, he does also have the Miststalkers. Miststalkers are a great choice as well in this matchup. Not only do they have missile resist from the mist, they're also just super solid against a lot of the Vampire Coast infantry. They'll crush Depth Guard, they'll crush zombies like any day of the week. They also do magic damage, so if the Vampire Coast wants to get a little bit sneaky and mix in some sirens, they're going to be a great pick as well, bringing that magic damage to the battlefield that you don't have to use Winds of Magic on. Incredibly solid stuff here from the Miststalkers. He does also have a Shaman Sorcerer in the back, so it looks like he's going for Doom and Darkness. Going to be trying to bust the leadership of the zombies, which a lot of you guys are probably wondering, why would you want to do a leadership bomb on the undead? They're not going to be running. Well, you can still crumble them faster. Sorry, I was just adjusting my chair there. So you can crumble them. Fate of Una is going to be good against more elite targets like Depth Guard. I definitely like that choice of magic. In the back, he's got a couple Javelins as well. Not too much backline defense, though. So if the Vampire Coast had some scurvy dogs, they could certainly do some work here, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. For his leadership, he does have Wolfric, and Wolfric is going to be on foot, looking like a badass, which is always cool. Walking away from explosions, all that good stuff. On top of that, there's a couple chariots as well, so 2 chariots, and if Vampire Coast has some mass, they can certainly deal with that, but if they don't, those chariots are going to be going in pretty good. So that's pretty much it for Norsca, and for the Vampire Coast, we got a couple Fellbats, which are going to be good for disrupting the Javelins in the back. Deck Droppers actually aren't terrible here. They can shoot with relative impunity with good micro. They can stay away from Javelins. They can shoot Trolls the entire game. They can shoot Chariots. Pretty good against Famir. I mean, Famir do have that resist, but nonetheless, the Deck Droppers are still a solid pick. So pretty cool build so far. And down here on the ground, unfortunately for him, he's the slower army on a map like this, which really sucks, which means he's kind of stuck on the low ground here. But alas, he does have guns to kind of hold this position. So Zombie Deckhand Mobs, Noctils on foot with the standard kit of Drowned Dead, plus the Invocation of Nehek and the Wrath's Moondial. And in the back, a couple groups of Depth Guard, just guns, more handguns in the back to give them a little bit of extra AP, and some halberds to protect those. Oh, it's actually going to be Depth Guard with halberds. Now, these are a unit that I think just aren't very good for some reason. I don't know. Like, on paper, they should be good against, like, Trolls and Famir, but I just feel like they just get killed way too quickly because of their low model count. But, yeah, we'll see how they work out. So, guys, let's get this show on the road and see. What do you guys think? Do you think the Troll Pound Town build is going to overcome the Vampire Coast, or are the Spooky Boys going to give the business to the Trolls? We'll find out. So Deck Droppers for the Vampire Coast are going to be swooping in here and going to be taking some pot shots at the Norscan Trolls, I would imagine. Could go in a little bit further and go after the Miststalkers and the Chariots and things like that, but just shooting the Trolls in the back, I mean, will tank their leadership very quickly. You can see the Trolls are already at 39 leadership. What variable here is causing problems for them? So yeah, exposed flank just immediately puts them down, which is pretty funny. So the Vampire Coast is going to be dropping some summons here with the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs, just trying to slow the advance of the Norskins while the Deck Droppers can get more value. So let's actually zoom in and see what they're shooting at. So Deck Droppers are happily just kind of sitting up here, and it looks like they're trying to snipe the caster, which isn't a bad idea, getting rid of that, Spirit Leech, or excuse me, Buna, obviously going to be very good for the Depth Guard, so I can kind of see why he's doing that. Granted, maybe going after the Trolls to be a little bit better. I don't know, hard to say, because he's very, among things now right now. He's, hiding amongst infantry, and it's really pulling forward these bats. So the Fellbats in the back have dove onto the Marauder Hunters with Javelins, and now the Norscan Chariots are going to be surging forward, certainly going to be doing some work and getting into this back line. So the first one does get Last Samurai a bit, but the Chariots do get in there, but I don't know how long they're going to live here. I feel like the Depth Guard might be able to get him, but Aerocrastic, of course, has very good control, and he's not going to let them sit there for a second longer than they have to. So in the back line, Norsca, the Vampire Coast may have blown its load a little bit early with the Fellbats, because now Norsca can simply just kill the Fellbats using its Trolls and other elements, and then from there they can just go in, although it looks like they're going to be advancing anyways. Marauders are going to be pushing down the hill, engaging with the zombies, and the Chariots in the back are doing a pretty good job. Depth Guard aren't really able to peel those guys terribly efficiently. Vampire Coast is going to be sending in its halberd, so the depth guard with polearms are going to be running forward, and they will tear up these chariots extremely quick if they stay for even 10 or 15 seconds. Those chariots will go down very, very fast. Depth guard with halberds have great combat stats, great bonus versus large. It's certainly going to be good against chariots. Frontline fighting is going very well for Norsca. The Marauders and company are beating down the deckhand mobs very decisively. I mean, that is huge, but the depth guard are really going to be the name of the game here. Are they going to be able to deal with this downhill charge coming in from the Norskins? We'll find out. So depth guard is surging forward as well. It looks like some of the guns, the first line of guns for Vampire Coast has been somewhat compromised. Wolfric's going for that duel. He's trying to juke out and get on Noctilus. Wolfric will have a pretty good duel there. His stats are quite good. 70, 50, 490 against 50, 46, 430. Plus he does have Hunter of Champions as well, so that's going to make him a little bit of a better duelist. So some depth guard are going to be withdrawing here to the back, just aligning here with Count Noctilus, trying to protect him from any onslaughts, I would imagine. But the Miststalkers are coming in, swiggity's foodie. They're just coming for that Vampire Coast booty, and this is going to be a hard counter. I mean, Miststalkers are just designed to kill these type of troops, and here comes the downhill charge, just punting these guys. So not only was it a downhill charge, but yeah, Depth Guard are really going to have a bad time here. Hunter, oh, and the Troll onslaught, the Troll Pound Town squad. You could just see zombies flying everywhere, and here comes the Troll just punishment squad. This is just brutal. These Depth Guard are just in the worst possible situation. Look how fast they got deleted by this goon squad. And Wolfric here, of course, doing his thing. Some Depth Guard with polearms have pulled over with Noctilus, and they're able to get some really good counterpunch here on the Miststalkers. That's quite good, but this one group of Depth Guard really just got crumped. And Trolls are very fast. They have 54 speed, so they're able to kind of maneuver around, shut down whatever targets they need. And if they stay away from their counters for the most part until the late game, that's going to be pretty good. So some Depth Guard are going to be chasing the Trolls, and Trolls will just be like, okay, we'll happily turn around and feast on your souls. The balance of power is a little bit in the favor of Norsca, and you can see there's some Marauder Hunters with Javelins up here finishing off bats. But a lot of the zombie deckhand mobs are just having problems holding back the tides here. You can see just tides and marauders coming in. There haven't been too many fights for the Vampire Ghosts that have been going terribly well. Well, that's a nice little snipe right there. The Raystorm is going to be going down, and I think the Jackdroppers with handguns, one group's still online. I think the other one actually got taken out by the Javelins or something else happened to them. So some of the Trolls over here actually do break against those Depth Guard. Wow, how do they break? Aspect of the Dread Knight. Okay, so Aspect of the Dread Knight on them. Oh, so the reason he brought Aspect of the Dread Knight, that explains it. I thought it was Doom and Darkness, is it actually gives 8 leadership to the troops you cast it on. So with Trolls, that is helpful. So the Vampire Coast might actually be coming back here. They've had a really good stabilization here in the middle. The Miststalkers and the Trolls are just kind of out of commission. Wolfric is in a very good duel, though. He's just been doing a masterful job just dueling. Oh, and he just decapitates that Depth Guard. Brutal stuff here. And he's going to be continuing to try and get on Count Noctilus, I would imagine. But more zombies coming in. I mean, Trolls, if you can tar pit them and surround them, they're going to be having some serious leadership issues. So if we look at the big overhead battle, there's 2 Javelins here in the back for the Norskins that are still shooting relatively well. Some zombie halberds are able to kind of crump on those spears, which is pretty good for them. But guys, the Troll City, I mean, they're going to be coming back, and that's the thing. Like, I've seen so many games where the Greenskins or another Troll faction are losing. You're like, oh, but if the Trolls aren't pushed off the battlefield, they come back, they heal. That is a lot of power that's going to be regenerating and coming back into this battle. So Vampire Coast is going to be sitting on Noctilus, some zombie powered deckhand mobs here, but a second onslaught of Trolls coming in. Now, there are Depth Guard with halberds, but, Trolls are Trolls. They hit really hard against armor. It doesn't matter if the thing you're hitting has a bonus versus large. The damage output is still going to be very good, and you can see they're going to be karate kicking these guys, doing their thing. And the Depth Guard, they're holding pretty firm, though. I mean, getting a little bit of damage back, but once some infantry start to saturate as well, then all the attacks from the halberds aren't necessarily going to be going on the Trolls. It might be going after Marauders or things like that. There are some deck droppers up in the sky, 13 right there. I don't think there's any left. An Aspect of the Dread Knight going down. This is just such a ridiculous, awesome build. And it's going to be giving 8 leadership to all the Trolls who are actually eager for once in their lives. That's not something you see. I mean, I guess they're always eager when the fighting starts. But here comes Wolfric and the duel versus Noctilus. Who's going to win this one? It looks like Wolfric is, he's the eternal challenger. I mean, I guess if Noctilus could spam Invocations, oh my god, he just did 360, just spinning attack, just getting all crazy over here, but Wolfric's certainly doing pretty well. He's going to be good in this situation, and you can see Noctilus is having problems keeping up with his combat stats. A heavy play to Wolfric, holding firm, although it doesn't really matter. Noctilus has good AP, but a great battle, a really cool build. It was unorthodox, for sure. I mean, just a bum rush. And you guys saw the impact of those Trolls was pretty good. I mean, they got in there, they took things to Pound Town, and if you really think about it, if you have enough width, with Marauders and just Chariots, Chariots and Marauders can kind of swarm on a gun line, and then the Trolls deal with the Depth Guard and the Crabs. So that's something to think about. Very, very cool, innovative build from Aerocrastic. I love it. And if you guys want to see more of that, go check out his YouTube channel. He streams all kinds of good stuff. Really awesome guy, great competitor, and of course a champion of an ever-chosen invitational. And well played to his opponent as well. It was a tough Troll Pound Town build. A couple things that I think are a little bit suboptimal in the build are mainly the Depth Guard with polearms. Those guys just never pay for themselves. I don't know what it is. They're really expensive. They cost almost 1,500 gold, and they just get crumped on by I don't know. Just their low model count really makes them susceptible to burst damage and things like that. It's a hard matchup versus Norsca, to be honest. I probably would do something. My build has really changed since the nerf to summons. It really did affect Vampire Coast quite a bit and made them substantially weaker, but, deservedly so. I think that summons were a little bit oppressive with Noctilus, but I'll show you guys a build that I think might be good against this, but even still, it might not have a chance. But yeah, very well played, Arrow. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's go do our post-game breakdown of this glorious counter build here. So Norsca against Vampire Coast, I think Noctilus is okay, but I actually am a big fan of Luther Harkin up in the sky. Oh, that's not Luther Harkin. Here he is. He's really good at like sniping the characters. He can go in, he can Goon Wolfric, he can Power Siphon. He brings a lot to the table. I don't think you need the Magical Void. You just kind of get him as cheap as possible. Then from here, you are going to need some zombies. I mean, every build kind of does. And from there, I think 2 Depth Guard are a pretty good choice just to fight Berserkers and Marauders. But now you have to deal with the Trolls, and the Trolls are a little bit scary. So if you want to go with something similar, you can go with like, if you're on like an open field map, it really depends. But if you're on a map where cannons are going to be a thing, I think bringing like a cannon or 2 isn't going to be bad because you can just hammer those Trolls pretty hard. And then if the Trolls want to rush back there, you have Halberds defending them. So even if the Trolls are pounding your front line, they're going to be getting pounded as well by the Carronades and Luther Harkin and some of those other tools. From there, I think the Black Spot is an incredibly good pick. Anti-large, armor piercing in their melee attacks, plus pretty good powder weaponry. So I think those guys are going to be a nice choice. And you can mix in a couple handguns as well. I think that is a good inclusion. I liked my opponent's usage, not my opponent's, but Aeroclassic's opponent's usage. Just kind of set them on some of the high value targets like Miststalkers and things like that. And then from there, you could get a couple Scurvy Dogs. I think getting like 1 or 2, like just to kind of keep your opponent honest, isn't going to be a bad idea. And Mourngulls are good as well. Mourngulls are going to be able to kind of fight back against Trolls. Granted, they don't cause terror anymore, so maybe just getting like the Terrors in the night. I think something like this could be a little bit tough for a Norscan build like that. Hard to say. It really depends on the map. Like if there's no line of sight, it's not going to work at all. But if you have like a relatively flat map where you can just shoot the Trolls while they approach, you'll probably be able to break one Troll off and maybe get another one down to like half health before they even get there, if not worse. Plus with your deck droppers plus Luther, you might even be able to deal with like 2 or 3 groups of Trolls before they get to you. And Scurvy Dogs are just harassing, keeping your opponent at bay. Oh, we almost forgot about summons. I was like, why does this build just feel so fluid? It's like there's nothing missing here. I think for the vampires, if you're going to go with like big monsters, you need this sweet Vampire Caster to heal you up. So yeah, you lose the Terrors in the night. You have the Depth Guard. I think a build like this could be okay. Something worth trying for sure. So again, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.